Hello and welcome to another video from me, Box of Demons, and another Hell Let Loose video. We've covered quite a lot on the channel for this game, and there are many videos out there where I'm pouring glory, beer and wine all over this title. But in order to be a subjective channel and an honest YouTuber, I think it's only fair that I highlight some of the things that currently in the beta at this stage and in the game that for me are a little bit off, and certain things that I don't like. There's absolutely no reason for me to discuss the graphics. The graphics in this game are really beautiful, but there are areas and things in this game that I feel, for me personally, and these are only my personal thoughts from being a tester since day one in this title, that I think need a little bit of tender loving care. So that's what this video is going to be about. Don't think of this as being completely negative. Think of this as feedback from a tester. I'm not sure if I'm the only person who feels this, but the actual controlling of the weapons and the characters within the environment to me feels very floaty. I don't feel an immersive connect to the actual weapon I'm firing. Games such as, and I hate to mention other games such as Squad and Project Reality, there's a real grounded feel to the weapon. As you can see here, there is a little bit of floatiness. This floatiness to me, it gives me a disconnect from the weapon. I don't feel attached to it. And there are many classes in this game, such as the MGs and things like that, that I've noticed hardly any of the testers are using. Whether this is because the audio and the visceral brutality of those weapons is lacking at this stage, or is it due to the floatiness? It just doesn't feel terrifying, shall we say, to fire the MG42. That iconic weapon and the audio that we all know and love just doesn't feel that terrifying. At this stage, I've got to remember we are in the testing phase here, hence the work in progress up at the top left. But it is a shame that I'm not seeing more MG gunners and some of the other classes here in the testing phase. I do wish as well there was more environmental audio effects, both on the graphics and audio. Things such as the birds in the trees or the crows flying after impacts and wind howling through these forests, fog, mist, call of birds and wildlife. These are some of the effects that I added in to some earlier videos, including air raid sirens before aircraft came over, and a lot of people said it sounded amazing. Well, I added those in post-production. I'm not being brutally negative here because we are in testing, but these small things really do add to the environment and the immersion for the players with boots on the ground. This floatiness, though, is definitely something that disconnects me, and I'd be interested to know any other testers' feelings on this and whether you feel exactly the same. Many of the weapons have got authentic iron sights, and there are certain weapons in the game where it is extremely difficult to see your target, even at mid-range and close range. Now, we are authentic purists, and we want it to be as authentic and realistic as possible. But I feel the devs are up against a hard case here. Some of the weapons just are not enjoyable to use due to the iron sights in a computer-generated version of the real thing. A lot of players in-game seem to be struggling and running around like headless chickens. Again, this is testing, so communication is not really that important. However, sticking with your team really will increase your immersion and the immersion of other players. Please, if you're going to come into this game, don't run off and be a lone wolf. It also helps as well, in fact I'm bored of hearing myself saying this in videos over and over and over again. If you are with your unit and you see an enemy to the west or at 40 degrees, shout out on the comms, enemy seen 40 degrees west, or even say 3 or 4. There's an LMG gunner, there's an assault class. Danger close. I know it is usually something that is said for the artillery, but use any call out you want, just to let the rest of your team know that there are enemies close by. On screen you can see I have a hand grenade or a hand granata. This is another slight little pet peeve that comes to my mind, as this is all part of the floaty control system. As I throw this, it's almost as if the grenade goes half a second later after I've let go of it, as you can see there. Again, I know we're in testing, but it's something that kills it a little bit. Always feels like you're almost delayed in everything that you do control-wise in this game. As you come up here from where that grenade has just landed, there's no visual identification that that has actually landed here. And what I would hope for as we get closer to release and push on through testing is there is maybe a little small impact crater, or that there is debris and dust and smoke that will actually linger much longer. One of the things that Squad eventually sorted out was that hand grenades and things like that would leave that dispersion of smoke for 5, 10, even 15 seconds after the impact. Shell casings, etc. would stay on the floor. Bloodstains would stay on the floor for quite a long time, meaning if you come up to that location after the main firefight, well, you got a sense of this was a place where it really, really went down. The gore in this game is absolutely amazing. I know this is a negative video, but I wanted to put this in here. The bodies splitting apart and disintegrated. War is gory, war is terrifying and bloody and visceral, and on that aspect, the devs really did nail it in this game. It is quite shocking, and I hope they continue to leave that, and the snowflakes out there don't wet the knickers. Put a tampon in and go sit in your safe space, because this was what war was like for the men who fought in these woods. And hats off to the developers for not shying away from that. Character models are superb. No complaints whatsoever. There are a lot of people who have mentioned on some of my videos that they feel that the character models, while 100% accurate, the characters' faces do look slightly gormless and very, very young. Well, conscripts and people who fought here on the front lines and during the war were extremely young, some of them being 16 years of age, so they have represented that quite well, although I do agree they look almost baby-faced, like a lot of them have been behind enemy lines or behind the front lines on the typewriter, and all of a sudden they've been thrown in at the deep end, aka Saving Private Ryan. They do look very young. They don't look, shall we say, battle chiseled. But hey-ho, that is absolutely nothing that I would complain about at all. There are lots of people running around like headless chickens, and I think that may be due to the fact that the devs have kind of changed the game mode again slightly, where there's more opportunity for attack and defense with less locations to be attacked and defended. So that will come eventually. I think a lot of people like myself are just running in, trying the different classes, trying to experience as much hell let loose as we can within the testing weekend. I'm on a good connection, and I've noticed over the weekend I've been kicked twice as I've entered the game, and it says ping too high, which is kind of not really possible as I'm on a 100 meg line. And occasionally when you look at the browser, it says that many of the servers are running at 400 ping, even when they are empty. So there's something slightly amiss on that side. But barring that, I have had very, very little FPS drops, barring the new airstrikes. But that was mentioned in the release notes for this testing phase, so that's something I'm not concerned about. And a lot of players are not playing the commander role, but again, that will come in time as players start to learn the functionality of each one of the classes. So that kind of brings me to the end of this Hell Let Loose video. I'm on a relaxed vibe as we walk around and discuss some of the things that I think need a little bit of love, some of the things that I'm not really quite enjoying. With the control system is the first one for me. That floatiness really takes me out of the immersion that I'm looking for this title. I'd be interested to know your thoughts and comments in the box below, so please do subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that ding dong. It will help me, as I realise I've not had any new subscribers in a long time, even having a 95,000 views on one of my Hell Let Loose videos. You're all a bunch of bastards. Hats off to all of you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.